a bit of a different one today. So in my last video I had a look at the Speedmaster Professional. We looked at, should I upgrade to the new version, with the nicer bracelet? Well, some say nicer. This one is the old bracelet from 2018 when I bought it, replaced in 2021, so no taper, quite heavy bracelet. And although this is more about the watch head rather than this thing here, because we all know we like it on a bit of a leather strap, I did start looking on eBay and Chrono24 straight after, because as soon as you start going back into the lore and into the little details and intricacies of the Speedmaster and its history, you start having a look and think, well, is it time for me to upgrade, or maybe look at something a bit more, I don't know, vintage, one of the older versions. And then wouldn't you know it, within 5 or 10 minutes I'd found what I thought was a pretty good value watch. So what we have now is a pair of Speedmaster Professionals. Now this one I bought pretty much on the day I saw it. It was really good value. It's probably one of the cheapest versions of its kind. I had a good look at it, asked loads of questions to the supplying dealer from the UK, and using my trusty Moonwatch Only book to check the details of whether it was the right bracelet, the right dial, the right hands, the right bezel, everything complete. It was just too good to pass up, so here it is. So my new Speedmaster. Now what we've got is caliber 1861, and this is pretty much unchanged since about 1997 when they replaced the Tritium loom with Luminova. They replaced the 861 movement with the 1861, which is pretty much just rhodium plating instead of the yellow plating in this one, and obviously you've got the chunky bracelet. So what we have here, and what over the last few days I've really started to appreciate, is where Omega on some of the more call them vintage reeditions have tried to give their watches this very subtle sort of faux patina. This one is genuine patina tritium. As you can see there, it's got the T's either side of the Swiss made, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Now it does still light up with a torch, but sadly within seconds it's dead, whereas these Luminovas, I think they last pretty much indefinitely. The Tritium ones do have a bit of a shelf life, and sadly after what is effectively 27 years this one is dead. But what it has done is given us this wonderful sort of creamy aged look, and you can even see if I sort of zoom in to the dial and look at the hands, they've got this nice sort of, I call them slightly grubby gradient fill. So these are the original hands. You can see the little Omega logo in the middle of the crystal there, so original crystal, or at least it's got an Omega crystal on it. So all complete, which is fantastic. Now what I did notice, and it's the only, I want to call it a downside, but what it's given me is a very nice condition watch, is it has had a little bit of a polish, but not to the extreme. So if you have a look at the lugs, they're still very well defined. A little bit of overbrushing on the end there, but we're zooming in. But that is proper Omega brushing, and the polishing's being applied very nicely. Now if you look at the newer version, it's a much sharper interface, so that's what you miss from an unbrushed or unpolished case to what is a watch that's had nearly 30 years worth of service, so 30 years worth of pockets and desks, and then it's had probably its only polish of its lifetime, but it's still pretty cool, pretty good. So this has the bracelet. Now this is another thing that drew me to it, and I've seen a lot of the older ones, so if you go back to the earlier 90s into the 80s, and you can get some nice vintage style bracelets, and you got that the rare one, the sort of president style one. But I like this one, because it's the same sort of design as the modern versions. I do like this one with these sort of intermediate polish links, but it has a really nice upscale, albeit friction fit clasp. It doesn't have those horrible pressed steel affairs that sort of break your fingernails. This one still feels pretty modern, but what it does give me is, I'll get the other one next to it, a much more, call it, vintagey feel, because it does taper. So this one goes from 20mm down to about 18mm to the bracelet, and then 20mm across the buckle. Then on this one it goes obviously from 20 still, but this one goes down to 16 and then only 18 across the clasp. So yes, it's only 2mm, but it just feels different on the wrist. It's also about 20 grams lighter, so I weighed these both. It's sized for my wrist, and there's about 20 grams of steel between the two bracelets, and again that counts for a lot, I can tell you, in terms of comfort. Now this one, I said, it had been serviced about 10 years ago, not been worn much since, so at some point it will need a service. I'm not going to dive into that yet because I don't know yet whether I'm going to keep it, because now I've done it I'm thinking, if only I bought the same model but with the open case back. A bit more expensive, and they are out there, but it does sort of differentiate it from what I've already got. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, well, actually this is a really nice example. Why would I want to give it up? So, subject to further developments, and what I might do is get an extract from the archive, just for completeness. There's no papers of this. I've got the original box, but the papers, the original owner, because it was out of warranty for years, he just chucks it all out. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what the dealer said, and I've got no reason to suspect otherwise. And you see so many of these without papers. I mean, it's nearly 30 years old. You don't know how many people's desk drawers it's been in, how many sideboards. So let's put this one on the wrist and let's zoom out a bit, and you can sort of see how this sits nicely. That's a really nice bracelet, really nice clasp. I love it. But it's just the dial. The dial is just so special. I think with the newer ones, the white and black is classic. I mean, it's as it's intended, high contrast, white and black, and that will never change over time. Who knows whether Luminova, they haven't been around for long enough so anyone knows whether it's going to yellow or not. I'm sure I won't be around by the time it does. I'm sure you can artificially do it, but I wouldn't suggest anyone does that. So I'm thinking now, well, I don't know if I can afford to keep both. Do I get rid of this one? Thoughts. I'd had no intention of creating a Speedmaster collection by any stretch, but now I've got two. That is definitely a collection. I have designs on other watches. So thoughts and comments, please. Obviously check out the links below, check out my affiliate links. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. I know it's a bit of a quick and dirty video, but sometimes you just got to get them out there. I'm Andy, this has been The English Watch. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.